Welcome back. We're the former critics.
Woo!
And today is going to be our Halloween episode.
As if it wasn't already obvious.
Yeah, from our backgrounds.
And to celebrate, we watched 3 movies, only 2 of which were horror, and one was like in the horror category on Hulu for some reason.
Um, and you haven't seen any good horror movies lately that aren't these. So,
um, what's a horror movie? Okay, name name one horror movie. Period. No, just kidding. Name one good horror movie that came out in the past 2 months, 3 months.
The Substance and
Is that
Terrifier.
horror? And what?
Wait,
What was
The
the second
Substance
one?
is horror.
Is it actually? Because it just seems like kind of dramatic.
I mean, it
Kind of
is
like
really
drama.
dramatic, but it is like you'll see what I mean because some people are saying it's like the goriest movie of the year.
Here's the thing. I feel like the substance is already too overhyped, and I know I'm gonna change my opinion. I haven't fucking seen it. I know I'm just gonna like change my opinion when I see it because it's probably great. But like for me, I'm just like this is like it's too overhyped. Like, and by the way, like thanks like social media, like you spoiled a little bit too much of it.
Yeah, we tried to like
With
avoid so many spoilers.
without me seeking out any spoilers. Like the algorithm knew that I was like reading about people like people's reviews and reactions to it. And so the algorithm was like, "Oh, he likes the substance. Well, here we're just gonna put full spoilers on his feed." So like I kind of
People were like spoiling, like people were like filming like in the theater and like just like posting full scenes like on their Instagram. Like the fuck.
yeah. So I saw like the monster costume. What I assume is like I assume what becomes. I assume it happens at the end, which is a bummer. It's been
Spoiler, yeah. And what do you mean if you saw that? What do you mean it's not a horror movie if you saw that?
Because I don't know. Listen, I don't even think I saw the trailer. Or I actually that's a lie. I saw the trailer. I saw the trailer once, okay, and I was like, I know the message. Like I know what this movie's about. Like it just seems a little like kind of like on the nose.
I mean, is the problem?
No, I need to see the movie without judging it. You know, so instead of being instead of being like a former critic, I'm like a premonitional critic. I'm just judging a movie that I haven't seen yet.
Um, and also Terrifier 3, which is good, but you're not like
Oh,
into those kinds of movies, so
I don't really understand why anyone is into those movies.
what do you mean? It's because of the psychotic kills, obviously.
But I don't know, like how, like why is that entertainment? You're just like, oh, let's go watch people get like brutally torn apart. Like, yeah, I just want to see their innards fucking fall out of their fucking asshole that was just torn open by like some dumbass clown. Like, yay, woo! Yeah, I don't care. I'm literally never gonna see it.
Okay, so for anyone that didn't see it yet, just
Spoiler alert.
yeah. um, there's a whole scene that literally like we were shocked, and not because of how graphic it was. It was because it came out of nowhere, and it's like the he's like in a mall dressed up as Santa Claus. And he's like handing out presents to little kids, and then the one kid's like opening the present, and it's like all this like cute music, and then it explodes, and the whole fucking like all the kids die. You know?
Just hearing that, like hearing, like not even hearing that, hearing the setup leading toward the obvious conclusion, my stomach was already churning. Like I was just like, of course they killed the kid. Of course, killing the kid wasn't enough. They had to kill the group of kids. You know, like that's I don't know. That's not entertainment. That's just like if shock value was an artistic quality, then sure, Terrifier wins. But I don't think it is.
Um, it's so funny because we were sitting in the theater and we bought tickets and it was just me and Ashley. The whole theater empty. And then like 15 minutes into the movie, some lady comes walking in and then sit down right in front of us. The whole theater empty, literally sits right in front of us. And then like, all these people are like being mutilated on the screen. She just starts opening up like a full meal like McDonald's or something and just eats it.
McDonald's.
I was just like, what the fuck?
I would be irate.
Just insane.
I would have moved my seat. I would have passive aggressively been like, huh, and then moved my seat just so she could hear like that little like exhale.
Honestly. Oh my gosh. Well, those are the best movies that I've seen lately.
The best movies overall.
Yeah. The Substance is probably like my favorite movie of the year, I think.
All right. I mean, I guess we're gonna have to settle this the old-fashioned way, where I see it and then form my own opinion.
The director is kind of known for having movies where like the messaging is like on the nose,
And that's not a bad thing, but it is a dream scenario thing.
Right. No, I get that. I get that critique. But like I feel like once you see it, you're gonna be like I feel like you'll know what I mean when I say it's good.
Listen, you're probably right, and you know what? I think I'm mad because I already know my experience has been lessened because I was inadvertently spoiled. And like I'm just mad that like I didn't look for that. It literally was just popped up on my phone.
I mean, literally that happened to Ashley too. She was so mad.
That
sucks. Anyway. Substance, we're coming for you. But today is all about Huluween.
Huluween.
This episode is sponsored by Hulu. Thanks, Hulu.
Yeah, it's sponsored by Disney.
It's sponsored by Disney. They sent us like a fucking all expense paid pass. I don't know what Disney does.
Right.
Is Disney World still standing, by the way, or like did it like collapse in one of those like 3 hurricanes that just hit Florida?
I'm pretty sure they were just like open during the hurricane because I was like seeing people complain that there was people there bringing their kids like while the hurricanes were happening.
Yeah, like maybe don't. I don't know. Like also like Florida, like let's face the elephant in the room. Like Florida is going under. Florida is cooked. Like we need to get out of there.
Yeah.
Or put a dome over it.
Yeah.
But also like we can leave all of like the conservatives there. Just kidding. Ron DeSantis or whatever his name is.
It would have to be like a they don't believe in climate change, so that has to be like the center of the messaging is like, if you believe in climate change you have to get out, and then like people who don't will stay, and then like twisters will happen to them. You know what? Twisters is my movie of the year. No, I'm just kidding, but it's definitely up there. It's absolutely top 5. Unironically, it's top 5.
That's an insane take.
It's, first of all, no, it's not. Second of all, I haven't seen a movie in theater in like 2 months. I haven't gone that much this year.
Yeah. Honestly, like me either. Terrifier 3 was like the last one, and we had to wait so long to go.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're going back to the theaters, to be honest.
Because I don't know what's going. Oh, I want to see Nosferatu. That might be the next one that I see. But Huluween.
Right.
We just got distracted again. Do you want to explain Huluween? I'm shy.
Huluween is like this yearly annual thing that happens on Hulu.
They just have horror movies. We don't need to explain it.
But actually, what was cool is like when it first started and they first kind of came out, like the movies weren't bad. and they kind of just like started picking up like these really bad movies,
Wait, when did they start?
like Huluween.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know, like 2017, 2016, maybe even earlier.
This is okay. This is my first year being a full Huluweenie. Gotta say, don't know if I'm gonna come back, but we watched three. They were all released in 2024, right? We watched three of Huluween's new movies for 2024, and since we're the former critics, we're only gonna say positive things about all three of these.
Right, right.
Wait, give them a moment to applaud. Give our viewers a moment to applaud for us.
They're just sitting there in stunned silence.
They're not sitting. They're not watching. They left.
um, well, I was gonna say, Tubi hasn't been too bad with the like. I mean, I haven't watched a lot of Tubi horror movies, but
Well, now you say that. Why didn't we do Tubiween?
I don't know. I just like, but it just popped up in my head right now.
Oh,
Oh my god, you're such a bitch. I swear to God.
Tubi has been like pumping out a lot of like original movies and stuff, and like some of them aren't horrible, and some of them are really bad, but like they might even be those might even be more of a challenge to find something good to talk about.
Oh, really? Well, I don't know. Okay, so like I feel like out of these three movies, there was absolutely things to enjoy about all three of them. Like the headline for me is like none of these were brain dead. And I wasn't expecting three absolute brain dead movies. None of them are. They all have some redeeming qualities for me. I think you disagree.
Disagree. Well, I
We'll get-
disagree
we'll
with
get-
the,
we'll
We'll get to it.
the one.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna save.
On a side note, did you see? Speaking of Tubi, did you see Tubi's
No.
drag queen horror movie they made?
No, but I will soon. Is it good?
Yeah, it actually isn't bad, and you might like it. It's like pretty sure Trinity. I don't know, something like Trinity the Tuck is.
Trinity the Tuck.
Yeah, you know her.
Yeah. By the way, I like nothing against Trinity the Tuck is a great RuPaul competitor, but like All Stars 4 and the ending of that, that's all I have to say. I'm not even gonna say anything about it. I saw that season for the first time recently.
I mean, we binged like everything besides like the international ones.
I was going hard on binging, I think, until that season. And my next season I have to watch is the next All Stars. And I just have, like, this, I've gone months without going back because, like, All Stars is horrible. Dude, All Stars 2 being the best season of, like, not just Drag Race, like, I'm thinking every reality show I've seen, every reality competition show, like, it is that high of a caliber of entertainment and performance and, like, character and like it's
Your hyperbolic takes are wild sometimes.
here's the thing though, like no it's not, and like I feel like I'm not alone. All Stars 2 I'm talking about. Do you know the season?
Yeah, we watched all of them. Wait, who won that season?
Okay. Alaska. That was Relaska Talks and Katya in the final four.
Right.
and you're
And you're just casually like, yeah, you're hyper. No, I'm telling you, like, I haven't watched every reality competition. That season is among the best of any reality competition show I've ever seen. Me personally, me.
well.
I mean, we'll take your
Not
word for it.
hyperbole.
I do like Katya, though.
And then seasons 3 and 4. Then All Stars 3 and 4 have both been like just absolutely terrible.
Right. And on a side note, that movie is called Slay on Tubi.
Great. Okay, well, I'm first of all, like, I'm gonna turn off the camera and I'm gonna yell at you because you didn't like recommend this when we were thinking about movies to watch.
I just thought of
I'm literally angry at you.
it.
But instead, we're gonna watch. We have watched and we're gonna discuss 3 Huluween originals: Carved, Abracadaver, and Mr. Crocket. And by the way, that's the order we should talk about them.
Right. Um. Okay. Okay. Well, should I like talk about, like the synopsis of Carved or what?
Yeah.
So Carved is like this movie that's about this like sentient pumpkin monster that like comes alive and starts, you know, eating people.
It's getting revenge on people who were in like a pumpkin carving contest.
Yeah.
And like it's kind of like the setup is like, like whatever, like I think the explanation, it's like a small town. By the way, does it take place in Pennsylvania? Didn't they say Pennsylvania, or am I like insane?
Uh, I'm not 100% sure.
Because if so, then 2 of these 3 movies that we watched take place in Pennsylvania in 1993.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
They also share an actor too. What's his name? Elvis Nolasco, who played Mr. Crockett himself, was the reporter in Carved.
Right. No,
He was.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah,
That's cool.
isn't that funny? And they both take place in 1993.
Yeah, like that is weird. I remember actually like pointing that out while we were watching.
What, 1993?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Why do these both take place in 1993?
it's the spookiest year. It's a year before cell phones, and I think that's probably just why. But
The year we were born. Now we have spooky backgrounds. So I can go spooky.
I wasn't born in '93.
that's a you thing.
Huh? What do you mean?
I was born in 94. What the fuck are you talking about?
That's crazy.
By the way, I don't know if you noticed, I'm like almost a year younger than you. Not really. I'm like 7 or 8 months younger than you.
Like
Which
how
is
are
like
we like in the same classes and like in the same homerooms and graduating?
I think I avoided starting a year after I did by like maybe a couple weeks, because the July babies held off until next year. Actually, that's a lie. I think the August babies.
Right,
So,
right.
Anyway, can we fucking talk about Carved? Oh my god.
This is the entertainer people tune into, you know?
Yeah, everyone who's like craving their Carved discourse is like screaming right now. Okay, listen, Carved. Yeah, so everything Alex said, plus the premise is like a year before there had been like a train accident that dumped like, was it nuclear waste like into this small town? Specifically into this pumpkin patch. And so like the pumpkin sat dormant for a year until like this Halloween, when the pumpkin finally awakens. And they have like this small town like pumpkin carving contest, and they're doing like the weirdest play I've ever seen. And they're filming it for the news and stuff. And it's supposed to be like a cute, like 1 year later, look, we're all fine, we're all good. But then obviously the pumpkin comes to life. It's got these crazy vines that it uses as like swords that like just can grow as long as it wants, and it just stabs people. It's strangling people, then their heads off.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot going on.
And like quite frankly, like the movie itself is like kind of like it's like the same type of stuff we've seen before. Like mainly like just like the tropes, I guess, but it actually has like some pretty good gore, you know? Like the gore and like the practical effects actually hold up.
Yeah. So okay, you texted me that. You were like, I like the gore, and I was like, I like gore never even occurred to me as something to like enjoy. So can you talk about that more? Like, what do you mean as good gore? This is why I don't like Terrifier.
Yeah,
Yeah, like like explain liking gore. I don't get it.
okay. Well, maybe like gore was like the not the right term. I guess it's like the practical effects of it all.
Yeah.
That's kind of like more of like what I was talking about, and that's kind of why I like the Terrifier series because like they like the guy who directed and like wrote it and like made the whole series is like he does the effects himself and he started like as an effects guy, like a practical effects guy, and that's why like all the stuff is like so good. And it's not like see like
Yeah.
a lot of movies like nowadays like they'll like CGI it, which is fine. Like I'm into visual effects and stuff. I try to do that myself, but I just feel like the practical effects like look so good.
Yeah. So carved was like mostly practical.
Yeah, at least it looked that way.
Yeah,
And
that's cool.
the like I feel like it wouldn't have had the same impact or even been like as good if it didn't have that element for me.
Yeah, I agree, and I don't know. Like I started watching this movie and like speaking of me being a premonitional critic, like I kind of like maybe wrote it off a little bit because it does have like the low budget limitations of like it's gotta tell and not show a lot, but I don't like it definitely like people like whoever made this movie, like the cast and crew, like genuinely cared and they did put in a good effort and like they wanted to make a good movie, and I think that became like pretty evident throughout. Like it was low budget, it was constrained, but that doesn't mean it's bad. Like I think they worked within the constraints as best as they could. um and by the end, you know what I realized? I was like, I genuinely liked this cast of characters. Like they are one note. They are a lot of like the horror movie stereotypes that you see in like slashers of like,
Yeah.
this is the annoying jerk who's gonna like have a meltdown and then like obviously get killed, and like, this is like the kind of the, I guess in this case it was the maternal figure, like the director of the musical production with the bum knee, that lady who's like, she's obviously like her thing is like she's just gonna like, protect the younger ones, and the grizzled army vet who is obviously gonna like be big talk and then maybe die a bit early. Like I don't a lot of cliches, but I enjoyed. I don't like, what was it like, I enjoyed these characters. I was rooting for them,
Yeah.
and there was one character who like we thought got killed off and it was a fake out, and when they came back, like I was legitimately happy. I was like, oh my god, yay, they lived.
I felt like I had more fun with this than another one of the movies we watched on the list.
Yeah, I have to say, like
Which
I
I'm
think
talking about.
we I know which one you're not. um I think on Letterbox, by the way, I think I gave this like a low score, but I'm actually like, now that we're talking about it and it's a couple days out, like I think I'm gonna bump it up like a full star, because like, yeah, I get to be clear, I gave it a 1.5 star.
Um,
I bumped it up to 2.5. Like honestly, like the more I think about it, the more I do appreciate it and the more I like it.
And you said we were supposed to talk about the positives.
we are
And you're
talking
out
about
here
the
giving it a
positives.
1.5.
I know, because like, for the reasons I laid out, like the goal of this episode is to find the positive stuff. Um,
Yeah.
Specifically about the cast. Okay, things that I liked. I wrote it down. See, I wrote it down
You took notes. I didn't even take notes.
because I was writing very specific things that I liked. Okay, the cast. Peyton Elizabeth Lee. She played the main girl who wants to become like a director, I think. There's a scene in the very beginning, like the cold open kind of shows like the pumpkin like ravaging everyone, and like we follow the reporter who the same actor as Mr. Crocket, who we'll get into. Like he's kind of like trying to escape and then like doesn't, and then like it kind of pans over and we see like this like the main character's face, and she's terrified. We see her like eyes and lips like looking through the wood. That shot specifically, and her facial expression, I was like, oh cool, like that it's so good. It's like striking, like it brings you in. It's just like, okay, like that's a hook for me. Like I'm tuned in now, like that's cool. So extremely specific, but a thing that I liked. Um, okay. The main so the main guy, like the main girl's boyfriend, I forget his name, but he's played by Corey Fogelman, who was from Girl Meets World. Does any of that mean anything to you?
Right. Did
Yeah.
anyone watch that? Like,
So here's the thing. I never watched Girl Meets World, but I've seen clips of it that have gone viral, and I watched like this 3-hour essay explaining why it's like such a bad show. Um, so Corey Fogelman, despite the fact that I never sat down and watched a full episode of Girl Meets World, is kind of an icon to me because they give his character so much insane shit to do in this show.
right.
So you never saw this clip of like it went viral, at least like viral enough to reach me, where it was like him, and by the way, Sabrina Carpenter is in this show. So like him and Sabrina Carpenter and like a few other characters are like talking about whether God is real or not. You never saw this clip? It's so funny. And then the guy from Boy Meets World is also there, and he's a teacher now, I guess. And he's just like, so let me ask you, like, can you look up everywhere you've been on the internet with just a click? And then Corey Fogelman, he's playing like the non-believer. He's like the non-believer, and everyone else is kind of like believes. And Corey Fogelman, he's a little kid this one. He's like, yes, and he's like a nerd, you know. And then the comeback is like, and God can't. And then Corey Fogelman's like as if that's like a gotcha moment, as if that alone proves it. And then they talk about the rainbow too. He's like, how many colors of the rainbow are there? And like they talk about, and he's like, but you can't see any of it right now, can you? And then Corey Feldman's like, uh-oh. And like that alone is supposed to prove that God's real. I don't know. Like you have to watch this clip. It's the funniest clip I've ever seen of anything. There's also another plot line where Corey Fogelman like is diagnosed with like I like some kind of like I think it's autism. And it's cool that the show like addresses that head on. And then like Sabrina Carpenter, the other girl, like, no, you don't have autism. And he's like, I'm cool with it. Like, if I do, I do. Like, that's fine, you know? And anyway, such a long rant to say, like, this kid and the role that they gave him is, like, so iconic to me. So seeing him here was great.
Well, I'll have to search that up, to be honest, because I didn't even know him really before this.
Listen, the clips are hilarious.
All right, I'll have to check it out.
You're just like, okay. Anyway, you're like, now that that's done.
No, I just I didn't even know fucking Sabrina Carpenter was in that, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that was like her first like thing.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know.
Are you a Sabrina Carpenter stan?
No, I'm not.
Be honest.
Her song "Taste," Spotify puts that after no matter what I'm listening to. It's every other song that Spotify plays for me is "Taste" by Sabrina Carpenter. It's a fine song. I don't know why. Like, I've never once deliberately looked it up, and like it's been on like my you know how Spotify has like your top 30 on repeat songs. It's been on that playlist for like months, like since whenever it came out. I've never once fully like sought out this song.
She probably just like her like label probably just like pays to have that on everybody's playlists.
I think it's just how you have hits now, and that's fine. But like,
Right.
and I don't hate the song, but like it's gotten to the point now where I'm like, I don't want to listen to this after everything. I do like her song "Please Please Please." I thought that was good.
Taylor Swift, you know.
I want to listen to Taylor Swift after everything.
I know you're a Taylor Swift stan.
Well, yeah, we've debated about it before on here. You act like you're clocking me right now or something.
I am, you know.
Okay. Enough. All right. What's something else you liked about this movie?
No, I liked how like fun it was. I thought it was like cheesy and like fun and like stupid. It was like one you could just like, throw on and it was just like easy to watch. Like, I like that about it.
Yeah, I like a few other notes that I have is I love when a character like has an interest that's established at the beginning and then they use those skills like throughout the movie. Like when the main girl helps them come up with plans to avoid this pumpkin, you know, and they're like locked in a barn and they're like, "What are you doing?" And she's like directing because she's like directing the play. Like I love that trope. I love it. It gives me goosebumps. So I like that. And then the actress did it too. The actress was like, "I'm improvising," you know, like later on when she like, and it's awesome. Chris Elliott is in this movie and he plays like this psycho farmer that's like I don't know why he is the way that he is, like the guy with the weird voice.
Yeah.
And I was like, if you're gonna be in this movie, you might as well. And you're just like okay. And then
I'm just waiting. I'm waiting. I thought you had more. I thought you had more.
like you might as well if you're gonna be in Carved 2024, like you might as well do like a freaky voice for like no reason.
I mean, honestly, just like ham it up. Like be like a Nicolas Cage level, in my opinion.
I wrote that like this is not true, but like it felt like every single male character was gay, and I wrote that down as a positive, even though like at least several of them were like established as like having like heterosexual love interests. Why did I like struggle toward that? But it felt like every single one was gay, so I like that.
Yeah.
And then the baby pumpkins were hilarious. And the theater teacher's death, full spoilers by the way, the theater teacher's death was genuinely sad. When she said like her and the girl's parents, her parents died by the way. I don't know how she's living by herself, but she like her parents died. And then the teacher was like, "We're gonna have the best seats in the house to see your play," and then she dies. Like that.
Um, I liked the design of like the pumpkins, to be honest, like the killer pumpkin.
Yeah.
And the I thought like it was kind of creepy, like the sounds they had it make,
Hmm. No, I agree.
screeching or something.
And I liked how the babies had like kind of faces
Yeah,
in this one.
that sounds
Yeah. So anyway, um, yeah, I judged it too harshly. It aged well for me. I enjoyed Carved.
now it's your turn to convince me that Abracadaver was watchable.
So here's the thing: we're transitioning into Abracadaver now. Um, where's the Huluween part? Where's the Ween part? Um,
It was just about like a magician or something, so they were like,
it it's fully a magician heist movie, and then like there in the beginning there's a ghost who's like not scary, just like kind of like actually maternal. And then there is a mummy involved with the plot, so it does have that. There's a dead body displayed a few times. And then the ending credits are full horror. Like I don't know if you noticed that, but like full like mausoleum, like haunted house, and I was like, that's not fitting to what I just watched for the last 90 minutes. Like that wasn't part of it. um, so
so
the ween part is a little questionable.
a ween bar.
So Huluween maybe like I don't know maybe Tubiween like is kind of like moving in on their territory, you know, and they didn't have enough Ween movies for Huluween this year, but
Honestly, I feel like Tubi's like doing way better than Hulu on the like horror movie front.
that's what we should do next year. Okay, next year, mark this down. Next year is Tubiween versus Huluween. Huluween.
Right? Yeah, we should definitely do that.
I'm being dead serious.
Write it down.
Okay. Tubiween. Okay, just kidding. Okay. So Abracadaver. Don't ask me who directed it and who stars in it. But
Something like that is like the director.
So
Something
it's
like
about
that.
a family.
it's about a family of magicians. Their dad being Mexico's most famous magician of all time, named like Malale or something like that. He's dying, and then like his three kids are all in the magic sphere too. They all have kind of like different strengths. Like one is like a psychic. What one does disguises. One I don't know if that's accurate. But so he gathers them all at his deathbed, and he's like, "Listen, like I need you to steal this like eye from this mummy because this person has it." And they're like, "Okay, we're gonna use our magician strengths, and we're gonna get it." So that's the plot. It literally is like Mexico's low budget, like Now You See Me, where they're kind of using magic in like a practical, like attempted to be grounded scenario. And that's one of my big positives is I love the premise of this, like despite the fact that both Now You See movies are kind of like the premise is great, and they both movies still have like banger individual scenes and sequences in it. Like, did you ever see either of them? Like, whichever one has like the scene where they have to smuggle the playing card like through security, and they're like flicking it, and it's like moving through their clothes and their sleeves. Don't care. Banger scene. Banger scene. I love it.
And like I do enjoy that about this movie, like the magic parts, I guess, but like it just I don't know. Maybe it just is because it's like wasn't really horror or something. It just wasn't. I wasn't vibing with it, to be honest.
It was not horror, and like that, like thanks Hulu. We couldn't even have a fully horror themed episode thanks to freaking Hulu. We should change our backgrounds for this section. It should just be like normal backgrounds again. No, but I always it's cartoonish, right? Like, like they at one point the illusionist disguises himself as like someone's son, and they like successfully convince them that they are like Roque the son and like not a completely different person. And like I love how cartoonishly like they instantly figure it out, and then they're like, you're different because your vibe's different and you look different. And then they play it off like, oh yeah, well I was in like I was in rehab, I was in jail, I was getting help, and like now I'm a different person. And I love how cartoonish that setup was, and I just love the fact that it played off. Like you can't take it too seriously. The movie doesn't take itself too seriously, and it just it goes over the top with all these like magical twists and stuff. And if you're gonna do a magic heist movie about magicians, like you have to commit to the concept, and there's like a plot twist like 70% of the way through, and then do you know what I'm talking about, like involving the dad, and then it turned out, okay, spoilers for Abracadaver, like it turned out like the entire thing was part of his heist that he planned, and like he was faking being on his deathbed, and like he got this entire newscast like to propel the illusion. And I like if you're gonna do a movie, you have to have stuff like that. Like the premise itself has to be a twist,
True.
So I like that.
They like work too much, I guess. I kind of wish like this movie like was more fun. I just feel like I didn't have much fun with it. If that's the like the Now You See Me movies, like I feel like those at least like had like fun elements that you kind of like wrap you in, and you're like going along with like the story, even if it's like not really plausible, I guess. But,
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it had like I wrote down one of my specific notes was like I love when like scenes take place at like a gala or like a party or something, and there's like this random opera singer. Like why do so many movies have that? And then it's just like kind of like 30 seconds of an opera singer singing, and then like it cuts like the main character like doing an undercover thing, and you can hear the singer in the background like it keeps going. Like like that's another very specific trope that this movie does, but I enjoyed it, and I just wrote it down that it did that, and I liked it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, actually, now that you say that, so many movies come to mind that have that there.
I cannot think of another specific example, but I know that I've seen it before.
literally one of the ones that come to mind is like Ghost Ship because I don't even know if you've seen that movie, but there's
Of
literally
course,
like
I've
a
seen
whole
Ghost
scene.
Ship.
There's like a whole scene, like literally like that, like exactly like
Yeah.
what you're talking about. It's,
So I don't know. And then of course it had like the sibling family dynamic too. Like they all kind of gone their separate ways, and then like this mission kind of brought them all back together, and they had that like that B plot going for them as well, where they learn to work together and use their skills. So I don't know. It's inoffensive. I had it going in the background. The dub. I listened to the dub. I didn't do like the original language one, so I listened to the English dub, and like any dub, that was kind of low quality, and like you can't really tell how well acted it was just because I don't know how dubs work at all, but like they're like very monotone.
yeah, I mean, we watched the regular like Spanish language one, but
Oh, okay.
um yeah, like I do get what you mean about dubbed movies. Like, I don't know.
So I had that barrier for me, but yeah, I don't know. Like it wasn't irredeemable. It had its fun moments. It like if it had a bigger budget like any of these movies, like it would have nailed it more. I think.
True, true. I agree. Um, okay, should we move on to Mr. Crockett?
Of course we should.
Honestly, like when I saw some people on my like Instagram feed and TikTok feed talking about Mr. Crockett and like talking about how good it was or like how much they enjoyed watching it, and then I was just kind of like, I don't know. But then you brought it up about like maybe watching it, and I was like, well, we might as well just go for it then. And like I
Yeah.
actually liked it.
Yeah,
I thought it was pretty good.
So
Huluween crowning gem has to go to Mr. Crockett. Like I'm serious. I think I'm serious when if I had paid money and seen this in the theater, I think I would have been satisfied.
Right. Yeah, it's actually like a decent story, and like the acting is all good, and the effects are all good, and like like
yeah.
it had like that going for it. It felt like more like a more polished movie than the other ones that we watched. I thought.
Around the board, it was good. Some elements are even great. I would say, like like I don't know. I watched this immediately after Carved, so I went and I was kind of like, and then like I had like a kind of like, and then like so even the opening scene, like speaking of gore, because the opening scene of this movie is probably the goriest thing out of the three. When like, which by the way we should. So Mr. Crockett is like kind of like a kids TV host. He has like I'm trying to think of like what show is comparable. Like it's like Barney, I guess, except Mr. Rogers, which I never saw. Um, so yeah, like Mr. Rogers, yeah, and he's like like the kids watch him on VHS because again this takes place in Pennsylvania, 1993, and then like if kids are being treated badly by their parents or they're being neglected or whatever, like Mr. Crockett horrifically like climbs out of the TV and does unspeakable shit to the parent with his funny Muppet animal assistants, and then takes the kid with him to his TV land where everything is like fun and colorful and stuff. Um, so the opening scene establishes that where it's like there's one kid like just wants to watch TV and he doesn't want to go eat like his vegetables or whatever, and his stepdad is like bullying him and like
Yeah.
telling him to use vegetables, and his mom kind of like gives up and she like doesn't stick up for him at all, and she just leaves. So Mr. Crockett comes and freaking at one point slices the dad's stomach open and shoves an entire and like it's not just food, just like disgusting sludge food and stuff like into his stomach, and then also with like an iron that's like on, and that was the goriest part of all three of these, but I really liked it just because of the novelty, the execution, the thematic relevance of it to like him telling the kid to eat vegetables and stuff.
Yeah, I thought it was real. I thought the effects in this were like practical effects were just as good as Carved, if not better than that movie, to be honest. I feel like it
Yeah.
really sold like those scenes where it's like more intense. I feel like it sold that better.
And then like I think we should be careful with spoilers for this one because like I really want to encourage people to go watch this one. But like I expected it to be like kind of a simple like okay, like it's gonna follow like this mom and the little kid, and like the dad had just died recently, and she's like struggling to figure out like how to raise him without the dad there. Um, and I really thought it was just gonna be like these two like kind of being haunted by Mr. Crockett the entire time, but like the mom and the son were gonna like I thought it was gonna be like the most like basic execution of the premise, but like it went deep with it, and there were like plot twists and like like the status quo shifts and like it just went so much deeper than I thought it would with like exploring like the premise and like how the world had been impacted by Mr. Crockett and like the parents, the surviving parents, and like how they respond to it and stuff. And it kind of even explained like the lore behind it and like how Mr. Crockett came to be in existence and stuff. So even story and script wise, like it went so far beyond my expectations.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the I felt like the story was really strong, like definitely stronger than like the other two that we watched. But I felt like this movie could have been like for not like all ages, but like I feel like if like a kid, like a younger, like I don't know, like a 12-year-old or 13-year-old saw this movie, this might be like a gateway into horror for them. This might scare them because it's like they're like more in that realm of like watching shows and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah. I feel like if this had somehow secured a theatrical release, like it could have had a shot, like of like not like being like huge, but like you remember Megan, like these random horror movies that kind of like Abigail, like they kind of gain traction and they do like incredibly well at the box office. Like it could have had a shot at like being one of those. I think where like it just like kind of went mainstream horror, I guess.
Did you even watch Megan or Abigail?
I saw both of them in theaters. No, just kidding. I saw Abigail at home.
Oh, right.
Abigail at home. I did like Abigail. I saw Megan in theaters and it was fine. It was okay.
Yeah, I didn't really like Megan that much, but
Like it was like a great idea, and then they didn't like, like they kept it kind of basic. I think,
yeah, as Blumhouse does.
or like that, or all the good parts were in the trailer.
Uh, I liked like the ending, the last like act of this Mr. Crockett movie, how it kind of like all the kids are like in this like TV world thing,
Yeah.
and like the mom is like trying to get her kid back. And I don't know, I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was entertaining.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought, by the way, shout out to Elvis Nolasco who played Mr. Crockett himself. After playing the TV reporter in Carve, didn't really get the chance to shine. Here, I thought he was so good, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah,
Because he was so
I thought the acting was pretty good in this one, to be honest. It felt
yeah,
like
it
more
was.
grounded and serious.
And he goes between like he can play the Mr. Rogers type, and then he can so easily go into like being like really scary with like a smile and like like all the lines he was given was like basically like things like like adults would say to kids, like come out wherever you are, and like bad manners when the mom was like trying to fight him, like like stuff like that. Like I thought it was great. And also shout out, I didn't even write it, like Crystalline Lloyd, who played the mom, like the homeless person.
Right.
Who, like,
Originally, like, we're not sure what to go out, like what her story is, and then it turns out there's a lot more to her. She was on Broadway in Dear Evan Hansen, and she's a great singer and actress. And like I never would have recognized her. And then she had that scene in the beginning where she actually tries to kidnap the main kid. And I even before I even know It was like I wrote down like, oh my god, like she was like such a good actress because she went from like terrifying to like really sympathetic, and because of that, like I knew there was going to be more to her because like she conveyed it so well, and then of course there was, and then I looked up who she was.
Yeah, true.
Um,
So shout out to her. She did a fantastic job. Yeah, the entire cast was good. This movie surpassed every single expectation I had.
Yeah, I agree. I literally even after I seeing good reviews about it, I still was skeptical because sometimes people like hype up certain
Yeah,
movies and they're like not that good. Like how you are with The Substance is how I was with
uh,
this movie, and then it actually was pretty good.
yeah.
Like it did like surpass all of my expectations, and like I thought it was fun,
yeah.
and I thought it was like a good story, and like it was acted well. You know, I thought it was
And you know
actually
what?
like one of the better movies that they came out with.
Letterboxed shit on this movie. Letterboxd, it's like a 2 point something on Letterboxd. And you know what? Like, grow up, guys. Like, what do you want? This is Huluween. This is Huluween.
It,
That's like,
I mean, like some of the Huluween movies of the past have not been great. Let's just say that. And this one was actually like watchable, like actually pretty.
this one, like I said, could have had a movie release. Could have had a theater release, I think.
True.
Absolute banger.
um. Okay. Okay.
All right, is that it?
All right. We're getting back into Substance. You're gonna watch that.
Okay. Didn't you say you had like a free?
Yeah. I was gonna say. It's since Mubi is the one that's like distributing it.
Okay.
Or,
Pause right the fuck there. Mubi. Is it related at all to Tubi?
right. Actually, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay, so now there's Mubiween. Now it's Huluween versus Tubiween versus Mubiween.
Right. But honestly, well, Tubi, we at least like that's like free and you can like actually watch that.
Wait, Mubi? You have to pay for Mubi?
Well, you do, but you can just like sign up for a free 7-day trial to watch The Substance and then you can just cancel it.
Does it come packaged with like Crackle Pop and like
Ah,
Gore Pop and fucking
right.
Zooble too? Like, can I get all these subscriptions at once? Coupla.
I don't think so.
What are we doing here? Like broad, okay, like changing topics, like broad, what are we doing here, guys, with streaming? Like, what's going on? Like,
I agree.
Peacock, by the way, 2 years ago was free.
Yeah.
Now I got it for like $10 this year. Okay, it was free for like Comcast customers. I should specify that. I was getting it for free 2 years ago. Now I got it for $10 for a year. That's expiring next month. $80 for a year of Peacock.
Yeah.
For what? For why?
And the thing is, like, but by the way, like with movie itself, like, I don't think it's like a streaming service in like the sense of like you can watch other stuff. I think it's just like movies and like shows. I don't even think they do shows. I'm pretty sure it's just movies, and I think it's only movies that they like distributed that you can watch on there. And I think it's just easy. Like it's it. They. I'm pretty sure they just set it so it's easier to watch them, so you don't have to go buy a physical copy.
Wait, but who distributed it? Like, who's behind Mubi?
That's a good question. Let's look it up. It's gonna be a corporation, I bet. You know who owns Tubi? Freaking Fox.
Oh, really? Well, and Fox is owned by Disney.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Oh my god, this goes all the way to the top. This goes all the way back to our sponsor. Thank you, Mubi, for sponsoring this episode.
Right.
We're going to Mubi Land.
Honestly, I'm looking it up and it doesn't seem like. Oh, okay, okay, all right. I see, I see. Mubi was like a thing that was originally started with the Criterion Collection in 2008, where they were distributing video on demand stuff, but then the Criterion Collection made their own separate thing for that. But Mubi is like its own service, and they distribute movies.
How long is the free trial? I'll have it for the full week. I'll get as much out of it as I can.
I mean, honestly, and I could probably give you movies to recommend if you actually wanted to like use that besides substance.
Sure. I don't know why you said it like that. You're just like, in case if you actually like want to watch a good movie.
I know. Well, there's like because like those movies like
Former critic here, by the way.
I I feel like yeah, honestly, I feel like the Substance is probably like one of their bigger movies, but a lot of their stuff's like more like indie, like independent filmmakers kind of thing.
Yeah, I've never seen an indie movie before.
Yeah, right. But I think you should just do it just to watch it, so we can talk about it and you can tell me that it's the best movie you've seen all year.
I'm kind of locked in on TV Glow at this point. Like, it's gonna take a lot for that to be surpassed, but I'll give it a shot.
Wasn't I saw the TV go like weren't some of their themes pretty on the nose?
Literally no.
What do you mean? Like
What was on the nose about it? Yeah, how was that on the nose? They never even directly state it. There are people who watch the entire movie and don't get that that's what it's about.
Well, that's actually insane. That's crazy.
Agreed, but that's how not on the nose it is, bitch.
Well, to be fair, same with the Substance, I guess, because I was just arguing with a bunch of people who were like talking about the visual effect, like the visuals or something not being up to their standards or something, and I was just like, that's the whole point of the movie. Okay.
All right. Oh my god. Well, now you're just telling me what it's about. All right. Enough substance. I'll watch it whenever I get to it.
Has substance. You have to look deeper.
Okay, I will.
Well,
All right, everyone, enjoy your Huluween.
see ya.
Bye.